if you or somebody you know wants to be a guest in the Somebody Show, email us. Email the Somebody Show at the. Anyway, it's on the screen, and just remember, we're all somebody.
It's a Somebody Show. It's a show where anybody can be somebody. I don't ever say that anymore.
No.
Remember I started, like, one of the first, I was like, it's a Somebody Show. It's a show where anybody can be somebody.
Yeah.
And not just anybody, but people who come and sit down and talk to us.
I thought we stopped that because RJ hated it.
RJ hated it. That's so speaking of bringing stuff back, it's been a couple months.
Yeah.
Phillies lost the World Series.
Dude,
no, we can't. No,
Too
really?
soon.
I can't.
Come on, man.
Even like 2 months.
Come on, man.
All right. I'll leave it. All right. What are we going to talk about?
Listen. Me and along with probably hundreds and thousands of our other viewers, just
at least 30.
I loved hearing about Hollywood.
Okay.
We all strive to,
hear another Hollywood story.
I would love to hear a Hollywood
This is not
story.
a Chris E. true Hollywood story, but it's just one that I heard, and I don't even know if it's true, really.
Well, that's like the walking story, one of your best stories. It wasn't.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I love all these stories.
It's in that vein, right? So this is a Hollywood story that I heard that was very interesting to me, and like I said, it may not be true, but hey, this is the internet, right?
Is it something to do with Pizzagate, or?
Oh no, that's not Pizzagate. That's for a different show. No, do you know who Joe Pesci is?
I do.
Joe Pesci is.
Yeah, do I amuse you?
They bleep you at the drive-thru, right?
Yeah, I love that guy.
Amuse you, right? So
Home
Raging
Alone?
Bull. Yes. So Raging Bull was his first, I think, big movie that he did.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So
I can't remember. Oh, Raging Bull. I'm thinking of Bull Durham.
Yeah,
Raging Bull.
That's
Bobby
Jake
De Niro.
LaMotta
Yep,
story.
got it.
Right. So, so he had stopped acting. He had gone out to Hollywood, Joe Pesci, from the East Coast, and tried his hand at acting and done a couple little things, but didn't go very far.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, it's funny. At the end of the story, I've got a joke about that. So, he moved back to the East Coast.
Okay.
Around that same time, maybe a little bit after that, Robert De Niro and Scorsese are ramping up pre-production for Raging Bull and casting for Raging Bull. So agents start sending all their actors who they want to be in the movie, and they're trying to find the brother of Jake LaMotta.
Okay.
Agent sends Scorsese and De Niro a videotape of one of their actors, and they put it on, and they're watching it, and they don't like the guy too much, but there's a guy in the scene with this other actor that was getting sold. It was awesome.
Okay.
Like, we don't like that guy, but this other guy, who's that? We want him. So they call the agent and they say, listen, we like your actor, he's good, we'll try to find something else for him, but he's not right for this. The other guy that was in the scene with him is great, who's that guy? And the agent's like, I don't know, that's not I don't represent him. And so they go in to try to find who this guy is, and they eventually find out it's Joe Pesci.
Okay.
So they find out who his agent is, they call his agent, and he's like, yeah, he quit acting a while ago, I don't know where he is, I think he's back at the East Coast, back where he's from. It's like, oh man. So they find out that he's working in a restaurant for like his brother-in-law or his brother, his friend, somewhere. He's working in a restaurant. And they have like a producer, someone call, and they say, is Joe Pesci there? And he's like, yeah. And they get on the phone, like, hey, Mr. Scorsese and Robert De Niro, I think you'd be great for this movie. He's like, get the fuck out of here. He slams the phone. Right?
Yeah.
So they tell Scorsese this, De Niro, and Scorsese says, all right, I'll call him. So Martin Scorsese gets on the phone and is like, hey, Joe, we really think you'd be great for the movie. And he's like, who is this, Frank? Get out of here, Frank. I don't want to talk to you. Go on. He slams the phone down again. So De Niro says, well, I'll give him a call. So De Niro calls him like, yeah, we want you to be in the movie. That's
pretty good. Yeah. I knew that was.
Swing right over, you stick your chin out. And he's like, hey, Frank, stop messing with me. Come on. He slams the phone down. Like Joe Pesci's not
Pretty good.
Either,
Yeah,
right?
dead on. Yeah.
Well, almost Joe Pesci. So they had to fly from Los Angeles to Jersey, New York, wherever Pesci was living at the time, and go into the restaurant and sit him down at the table and say, this is not a joke.
Right.
We think you would be great, and we need your audition to play the brother of Jake LaMotta and Raging Bull.
Okay.
And you got the part.
Good for him.
Yeah. So I keep waiting for Martin Scorsese
One day.
And De Niro to call me.
Yeah.
And say,
Get you a job at a restaurant.
yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, you think they're going to
I
come
wanna
to
be
the office?
I want to be in Raging Bull Part 2. Should we do Raging Bull Part 2?
Yeah.
You could be Jake LaMotta and I'll be Jake LaMotta's brother, or like whatever that sequel version of that movie would be.
Like somebody's great-grandkid at that point. Yeah.
We'll be like Raging Cow.
The problem is nobody watches boxing anymore.
That's true.
So it would have to be, like women's MMA.
Our guests
so
today are kind of a sports-themed guests. I mean, we'll talk about that. Maybe they could get interest generated in boxing.
Okay.
Yeah, with what they do.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
We'll ask them about it. All right, so let's go to commercial and bring our guest out.
Good segue.
Yeah, right? See, I'm getting better at this.
Just in time for us to get canceled.
Oh, you're talking about canceling?
Yeah.
Our ratings are going
down. Just brutal.
YouTube. How funny would that be if YouTube actually called people and said, "Listen,
It's time.
It's a free resource that anyone can put videos up, but yours are so bad, we prefer you to stop putting your videos on our channel."
Pay us to stay away.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, that takes some money.
Yeah.
$10, YouTube. That's all I'm asking for. All right, we're gonna go to commercial. Speaking of $10, we're gonna make some money on these commercials. We don't actually, but we'll be right back.
Sara Lee introduces new individual Danish. They're so delicious.
They're Saralicious.
3 great flavors, each with a fruit or cheese filling. So delicious. They're Saralicious. There's creamy cheese Danish.
They're Saralicious.
And spicy cinnamon raisin with a crunchy streusel topping.
They're Saralicious.
And new apple Danish. Sara Lee's new individual Danish. Cheese, apple, and cinnamon raisin. They're more than delicious.
They're Saralicious.
Hey there! That was that commercial. Fun, right? Yeah, that was a sad one. I put a sad commercial in there.
Almond Joy.
Okay. Yeah, Almond Joy. Really sad. Almond Joy commercial.
Hate Almond Joy.
You hate Almond Joy?
It's the
What,
worst
Mounds?
Halloween candy. Speaking
Mounds?
of, any coconut.
Yeah.
No.
Is Almond Joy is almond and coconut?
Maybe.
Is it Mounds with an almond?
I think there's coconut in there.
We have people standing behind the curtain. They're like, "Can we please get out of here?" We have a guest. We have 2 guests today. We generally don't do 2 guests.
This is the first time.
First time, well, we've had multiple people on the couch, but the first time we've actually had legitimately 2 guests.
Okay.
Right? We're a 1 guest show. But for these 2, we make an exception. All right. So please, welcome to the stage 2 guests who wear shoes all the time, even when they're sleeping. Welcome to the stage, Fun Fieldz, Aaron and Jonathan. Come on out.
Thank you.
Jonathan.
Thank you.
Thanks. Come out. Yeah. Aaron.
everybody.
Yeah. So this is our studio audience.
Hi, everybody.
And when you watch this back after it's edited, you're going to hear it's like hundreds of people screaming.
Oh,
for you.
great.
Yeah. Big applause.
Okay, my kind of people.
Yeah. So Fun Fieldz. You guys are obviously, I think you were there. That's what the hat and the shirts are, right? Fun
I thought they
Fieldz?
were dressed as
we
Almond
got
Joys.
these at the Goodwill. They're getting Fun Fieldz. Yeah.
Wait, is Almond Joy, is it Mounds or Almond Joy that's blue and white?
I think they're both blue
Are
and
they
white.
both blue and white? No, I think Mounds is red and white. And Almond Joy.
Ah, okay.
Joe's like, all right, Aaron's like, we're going to thought of that. You should change the color scheme. No, I think it's a great color scheme.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you guys were just talking about the Phillies. We actually took the color scheme from Fun Fieldz from the other very successful baseball team that used to be in Philadelphia that moved to
Athletics.
Kansas City, and then they moved to Oakland and went green and yellow. So we actually based the blue and
Athletics?
white
The
on
Philly
the
Athletics?
Philadelphia Athletics.
I'm not from Philadelphia, so you just learned me something. I had no idea.
I'm full of useful knowledge.
I'm full of useless knowledge, so that maybe we should be prepared. So I met you, Jonathan,
Yep.
at one of my son's friend's birthday party.
Yep.
And you guys do a really, really, really cool business that I want you to tell us about. Will you tell us about it?
Sure.
All right. What do you got?
Well, we get paid to come out to people's houses for birthday parties, special events, and set up wiffle ball fields or football fields or soccer fields. We do everything. We paint the lines. We put up a fence, foul poles, bunting. We do the national anthem. We have player introductions, so the whole production aspect. So we joke if you're watching the Phillies or the Yankees or the Eagles or the Giants, we take that experience, shrink it, put it in his F-150 or my Tacoma, and we drive it out to your house. And people don't really understand what they're getting. They'll hire us and they don't understand what they're getting until we're actually there and all their guests are pulling up and they're hearing the organ music and they're hearing, they're seeing the flag wave and everything. So that's what we do. If you're watching a professional baseball or football or soccer match, we shrink that and deliver it to the kids. Mm-hmm. But it's not just kids. We've done 40-year-old guy.
Really?
He just turned 40 years old.
Absolutely.
He had a massive kegger, and it was not that we usually condone that with our children's games, but no, it was 50 40-year-old men playing competitive wiffle ball while their wives and kids watched for 8 hours.
I think we did 8 or 10 games that day.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was
Now,
great.
and I can tell you firsthand knowledge, I was there at this birthday party. It is one of these things where you hear about it ahead of time. You're like, oh, this will be cute. And you get there, you're like, whoa.
So you went through that same thing.
Yes.
It's like, oh yeah, what do you do? And then you're there, and it's like
Unbelievable
It's like they
experience.
miniaturized
It is an
it, yeah.
incredible experience.
Do you need a certain amount of space? So is one somebody's yard not big. Yeah, but I mean, I guess is somebody like ineligible. If they're like your yard's too small, we got to do this somewhere
Every once
else.
in a while, we do run into someone whose yard's a little too small. But
Okay.
we can customize a field. Like we can squish it. We can have a feature out in left field or something like that. We've had trees in play. We've had houses in play.
Okay.
Just like when you grew up, right? There was never a perfect
Right.
field when you were growing up. Exactly. Also, if we end up having to make the field really small and really short, I'll just kind of come in harder on the inside pitches and try to jam these kids. They can't get their hands out.
Well, we talked about in the opening, you might want to switch to maybe if you have a really small area, you just do boxing. Right? Get the kids, put some boxing gloves on the kids.
I'm sure the parents would love that.
Listen, Mom, Dad, the baseball's not going to work out today, but here's these boxing gloves.
We have some gloves here. Yeah.
But no, we've had so much fun. We did a football party earlier in the summer, and it was a great piece of property, and it was perfect football field. And we bring out the goalposts. We play 50 different college football fight songs on a loop, the NFL films music. And it started raining. And you're thinking like kids nowadays, they're all on screens and they're all weak and they're not tough. And these kids stayed out there and they loved it. Yeah. And it was like a mud ball and just like real football when it rains. I couldn't get the offense going. So we played city quarterback. It was a defensive struggle for almost 2 hours. And the kids loved it. And, you know, we kind of joked that we're like fighting a two-man crusade against screen addiction and getting kids out, you know, playing, having fun, right?
So going back to that point, Sean, too, like when you hear about this, you're like, oh, your kids, you set up a game and these kids play and you have to watch this. Now, they're playing with the kids.
Right.
So
clothesline tackles and all these things.
The Peyton Manning SNL sketch where he's like throwing, why did you catch the ball? They're much better about that. They're not yelling at the kids, but or playing basketball, slamming, you know.
Yeah.
No, but they're playing because they kind of really
that kind of key, you know, because if you have the kids pitching, then it turns into chaos. Yes. So like I'll pitch or Aaron will pitch, and that way I'll get little clues from the parents, like, oh, my son is like a travel baseball all-star. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm bringing everything but the kitchen sink. And then you have other kids who maybe are not as, you know, so you give them some pitches to hit. And so if the game is getting out of whack, you'll pitch harder for the other team and easier for so that by the time you get to the bottom of the sixth inning, you want a close game. Right. And all the parents that are sitting there with their 12-ounce curls on the Adirondack chairs are enjoying like a great time.
Now that's not too dissimilar than the major leagues, right? I mean, obviously, Major League Baseball made it so Houston won that game, that series, right? I mean, that's. Sorry. So I actually moved this area. I am actually a huge Yankee fan. Oh. And so I have
same thing happened in
09. I have much disdain for
the Astros
for that team. Yeah. So
cheaters,
I think most
right?
proven cheaters. Yeah.
They are definitely cheaters. All of you out there.
So if we hear that, hey, time to. No garbage cans to hit.
We're going to go to commercial. When we come back to commercial, I was hoping we could talk about what was the genesis of this and where you guys came up with the idea. Does that sound cool?
Would you be able to define the word genesis? So
Phil Collins.
That sounds like a big...
Phil Collins.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, great. Like a yes.
I can feel it drumming in the air tonight. That's a good song you should play for your kids. All right, we'll be right back from commercial. Come back, please. Bye. All right.
Wait till Bob sees my Evel Knievel hot seat. Can't wait till build my Evel Knievel motocross bike. It's Tank with Evel's initials. It's Chain Guard with Evel's signature. It's Bucket Seat. It's motocross looks. And it's ID plate that says Evel Knievel. Hey, God!
The Evel Knievel hot seat and the Evel Knievel motocross bike. Assembly required.
All right, we're back from commercial, and Jonathan was just talking about it. I said, save it for the show. This is good stuff. So we want to talk about how you guys came up with the idea, like what your relationship is, and how'd that happen? How'd you guys come up with this?
Wow, it really evolved. This is going to get me in trouble with the wife.
Oh, good. That's what we do on this show. We get people in trouble.
It might have started with when my wife would have me go to different family gatherings outside, barbecues or whatnot. And, you know, after about 30 minutes of the same conversation, like I'd get bored and I'm like, what am I going to do? Right. So
you get the boxing gloves out.
You get the boxing gloves out. No, but I started bringing like a strike zone and a wiffle ball and that worked. And then that evolved into Well, if I got that, let me bring some foul poles. And then from that, a fence. And so that then led into, I think it was my bachelor party. We had a big drinking wiffle ball game before we headed out for the night and do things that we can't really talk about on this show.
Of course.
That's the late night show.
That's the paid content.
Okay.
We have a paid
So
paywall.
we did this awesome wiffle ball field, and somebody just turned to me and said, "You could turn this into a business." And I was like,
That's how it happens.
I was like, "What the hell are you talking about? This is crazy." And one thing led to another, and Aaron and I were like, "Hey, let's see what happens. Let's give this a shot." And we had to almost like give it away the first couple times. We did like a couple.
We did give it away.
I think we
That's what
did.
we're doing here.
I think it was like Collegeville something day or no trap day. And so and we set up like our first trap day.
Yep.
We set up our first wiffle ball field, and it wasn't great, but people thought it was cool, and it just evolved from there. And we eventually just started getting more and more equipment. And the other thing too, as we were thinking about this idea, is as I'm driving home from work. Back when people used to drive to work and then come home, it was something called commuting. I was like, there's like no kids on the street. I'm like, there's no stickball, there's no kickball, there's no hockey. Like, where are all the kids? And they're all inside. So I said, this is something that is fun, but I think it's something that the world needs. Not to sound like I'm Mother Teresa or I'm like curing cancer or anything, but like the joy that people get from the things, from the events we run. So we saw that, and then I got together with Aaron. I was like, Aaron, how can we create a wiffle ball stadium that we can set up in under an hour, and it also has to fit in a truck? So that's where Aaron and his engineering background and his check out the big brain on Aaron, came into play, because I'd come up with these wacky ideas. It's like, how do we make a foul pole? How do we create something to create a baseball diamond? So it all kind of morphed from there, and it's just, the joy that people get from this. And probably the coolest thing we ever did was 4 years ago, we did New Britain Township Day. We had World War II veterans playing wiffle ball in our field. These are dudes, guys, men, real men, that were island hopping across the Pacific. And they were out there, swinging the bats, playing, having a good time. So
the original generation of like the stickball kids, right?
Exactly.
Sandlot kids.
So that was kind of the genesis of it. Like I was bored. We had a bachelor party. Somebody said something. I noticed nobody driving and playing on the street anymore. And I was like, Aaron, is this something we can even figure out? And Aaron said, hold my beer. and 10 years later,
You come up with this. How
This
do I
sounds
do
like
this?
the Amazon origin story too. I think that's how Jeff Bezos and his guy got started too. Exactly.
So 10 years ago?
12.
I think our first paid birthday party will be next spring. And what's crazy is we feel old now. Like that kid is like in college.
Wow.
And it's kind of like weird. So we kind of go through this cycle of doing events for different schools, like in the Methacton School District, at the middle and elementary schools. And now we're hiring high school kids, Methacton, to actually work our events. So it's kind of like the whole circle of life of Fun Fieldz.
Now, did you say this in the previous segment, or when we were off camera? You were saying this past season you had more work than you could handle, and you had to turn down work. So you guys are working on franchising right now, right? Is that part of the deal too?
Yeah, it's been busy. Like we've got lots of attention. We're trying to do township days and school days as well. The summers are really busy, so parties are coming in here and there. So there's only the two of us. We couldn't cover everything that we had. And we had multiple events requests.
And you guys have it set up right now where someone watching could be like, I want to do this. How would
they would just go to own-a-funfields.com or Fun Fieldz Franchising, or just go to the Fun Fieldz with a Z site.
We'll put the link in the description.
Because the crazy thing is, the way this internet works is anyone can see it.
It's wild.
And so I'll be calling Aaron at like 12 o'clock noon and be like, yo, some mother in Illinois called us for a wiffle ball party. Some dad in Miami. Some lady in Orange County. So apparently this Google thing isn't local.
It's not just local.
Yeah. So we have like 35-star reviews on Google. So what happens is people all across the country are Googling outdoor party or wiffle ball party, and we're popping up. So that's why, I would love for these people to get the Fun Fieldz experience and also create this franchising so that people can own their own business and get paid to play wiffle ball and steady quarterback.
And like you said, strike out kids all the time. Strike out kids for a living.
Yeah, it's the greatest stress relief.
That's how you should pitch the franchise. Strike out kids for a living.
And the funny thing is, a lot of the kids that are really good travel baseball players, kind of like Jamie Moyer, don't throw them the heat. Throw it slow and slower, and it messes them up. Those
swings right now.
those travel baseball kids can hit the heat, so don't throw the heat.
That's great.
But so I mean, we were so busy that we needed more workers and more managers, and we basically just had to turn down a lot of business, this summer. The other thing too is, pre-COVID, the biggest concern was from parents, what if it rains, this and that. Post-COVID, nobody wants to be inside. And it's like these parents found all these jackets that they never had for the kids. And it's because before it was I don't know, what if it rains? And then, all right, we'll do Chuck E. Cheese or we'll do indoor bounce house. But now it's a completely different dynamic because they want their kids outside.
Right.
Well, now that we have all the serious stuff out of the way, I have a couple questions for you that we'll see. This is my special. I have to be the talk show host with the card, right?
Okay.
So do you guys set up any poker games for the kids ever?
That could be a whole separate idea, though, is to take care of the parents, right?
Yeah,
so you have the kids do the wiffle ball.
That sounds like one hell of an after-school program.
And then the other question, in a similar vein, you guys get any Vegas lines on these games you set up for the kids?
Oh my God, we should talk to the FanDuel people.
Some of the dads,
they start setting up
center field. I start to wonder.
That's what I thought of. Those are the two things I thought of.
Because a lot of times the kids love to play against the parents. That's the other thing too, and that would be a good line on FanDuel, kids versus parents.
Parents in as well. Yeah.
So
we've done a couple events that are like mom versus son in football.
Okay. Oh, that was insane.
Yeah.
Is baseball the most popular request as far as a sport that you guys get?
Right now, with the World Series going on?
Yep.
It has been. Typically in the fall, we get a lot of football, which you might imagine. But,
And we try to,
summer, definitely.
Yeah, and we try to replicate different stadiums. We have a Yankee Stadium package where there's a blue outfield with the retired numbers.
That's great.
We have a Fenway Park package, which we have
a green monster?
We have a green monster.
Nice.
And that's part of it. And then we also try to match up the outfield dimensions. So the pesky pole in right field in Fenway Park is really close. So we try to match up the dimensions. We've kind of kicked some ideas back and forth what to do with a Citizens Bank ballpark, but but we try to make it as authentic as possible. When we do our soccer parties, we're actually trying to create the experience of being in Europe.
Ooh, okay.
So we actually get hooligans drunk.
Nice.
But
good. I'll do that.
But we will pipe in British, German, and Italian soccer chants. So we've been on the main line houses. These are $1 million houses.
What was
the Zulu or whatever?
We have the Vuvuzelas on the loop. We have the Vuvuzelas on the loop. So we've done these soccer parties on the main line. It's the main line. And you're just hearing the vuvuzelas and then German and English soccer chants going on. So there's a production aspect to what we do in addition to the sporting part of it. And then I think we try to put in a little bit of the Harlem Globetrotters into it as well.
All right, so I want to do a hockey one on my backyard. Who's in goal?
Hockey's a challenge.
Okay, all right.
Grass,
so that's the other thing too about kind of selling to your potential franchisees. Is that the right word? Right. So you guys, the marketing is built in from the moment you set up too, because people are driving by and they're seeing that.
Well, you saw that at the party we did. People were just stopping, what the heck is this?
Yeah. So I mean, it sells itself once you get set up and things are going.
Do you guys bring your own concession stand too? You could double down and.
We don't get into the food. I mean, people have asked that many times, but it's just as easy to call the Kona ice truck or
you could get a hot dog or your own food truck or someone to run the Fun Fieldz.
Future of Fun Fieldz.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? The kids are having such a great time, they don't even want to eat. A lot of times we got to quickly break for 5 minutes, a quick singing of happy birthday. They shove a piece of cake in their mouth, and then they're back on the field.
Doubleheader.
Yep, game 2, the doubleheader. But the interesting thing from the business aspect is birthday parties are incredibly competitive, and it's a tough business. But what we also do is events for townships and park and rec, and for summer camps.
You do businesses too, right? Like,
and businesses, we've done team building. The neat things about the township events is you do a good job once, they bring you back every year, and then you just become a
Well, then you have everybody that's there. I mean, it's
Yeah.
free advertising at that point too, so it's great.
So the people watching there, they're like, how the heck can you make money doing this, and how is it sustainable? Trust me, it is. I know I have a Aaron has advanced degrees. You wouldn't know it, but I have an advanced degree. We kind of know what we're doing.
So this is your full-time job at this point, or no? Okay.
It's still a part-time endeavor for us,
right?
But full-time amount of work,
right?
The goal is for me is eventually, to be able to do this full-time as I get closer in my retirement years and fly down to Miami and write it off because we're going to train some 40-year-olds how to throw curveballs to sixth graders.
Now, I was thinking about the outfields that you say you mimic. Is it the Diamondbacks that have the swimming pool in the outfield?
Diamondbacks have
like blue swimming pool, baby pools, and put it out in the outfield?
I think there's more than one. Yeah, I did see the
Kansas City, I think, has something. They might have. I think they might have a pool out there too, or something.
That's a good idea.
A little baby pool. Yeah, just put it out there.
I like that.
Well, thank you guys so much. Is there anything else before we go?
Is there like a YouTube that we can see one already set up, or is that?
We do have a couple YouTubes that we set up, and also, was it 6ABC just did a spot on us? We could. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we can put that on the show.
People actually watch that, so you got somebody.
We did a wiffle ball party in Collegeville, and ABC came out. The show was called Localish. So if you Google Localish Fun Fieldz, and they did like the real stop motion. They had drones, and it's like a 3-minute video of how we transformed just any typical yard into baseball stadium.
Well, that was the other thing too. Sorry, I keep thinking about this experience that I had with your business here. Is that not just backyards? Like the front yard of this family that I went to was the perfect spot. So again, it was like right in the front yard.
Everybody saw it.
Yeah. It was great. So, well, thank you guys so much for coming on.
Well, thank you. This has been fun. Thanks for putting a local business on, and local business that's doing well and looking to franchise and. Trying to build a national brand recognition. Like people think of Philadelphia and they think of like cheesesteaks and pretzels.
Throwing batteries at Santa.
Throwing batteries at Santa.
Snowball, sorry.
Yeah.
JD Drew was the batteries, and he deserved every single one.
So hopefully they'll think about Fun Fieldz as well. That the guys that kind of elevated the whole. Playing ball outside with your friends and elevate it to a whole new level.
It's an absolutely great product, and to your point, it is a movement that should be kind of pushed through our current culture, I believe. So, not to get too crazy about that, but thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Thank you all for watching.
Thanks for having us.
Jonathan, Aaron,
thank you.
Enjoy. Have a good rest of your weekend.
Excellent. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
My American Eagle can go just about anywhere under the sun. Anywhere. Come on.
Eagle's automatic 4-wheel drive gives me the confidence to take the family to the beach the hard way. Eagle even hauls my boat out of this. Now, I wouldn't try that in an ordinary compact. Eagle's 4-wheel drive automatically directs power for the traction to get out where there's nothing but woods, and occasionally another eagle.
The Eagle has landed on all fours at American Motors.
We're back. And we have nothing to talk about except for this new stuff we've been kind of trying to push. If you want to buy, we got these plastic cups now. They're really, really low-end, cheap plastic cups that we want to sell to you for $5 for a cup. Or you can get 4 of them for $10.
Or make an offer.
Yeah, or make an offer, yeah. And then obviously we started at the beginning of the season talking about these used shirts we got at thrift stores that you can have. Because, the guests get the nice shirts. The guests get these. They get the Somebody for Life because they were on the show. But nobodies out there who aren't on the show, you too can have a shirt.
Or you can just come on the show.
Or you can come on, just give us a call, email us.
Email Chris.
But we have somebody ate my other shirt, so there's that. So please buy our products. No one's bought a single product yet.
No, do we even have?
You could be the first.
Do we even have it set up where they can buy them?
No, we don't have it. So that's why we didn't. That's right. But we'll get it set up and
one day.
The products out there.
We're so good at this.
Oh yeah, that's why we do this in a garage. So thank you again for watching. I'm really excited. Jonathan and Aaron were
That was fun. Yeah, I like that.
They're sitting over there. So
Yeah, that's what you're just saying nice stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. When they leave, I'm gonna be like, what an idiot Jonathan is. Jimmy,
Terrible
he said he was
idea.
Oh, come on. No, it is a great.
That's a great
I'm
idea.
telling you, going to that party. It's great. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see. And this is a beautiful show to see. No, not as much. Not as much as there. But that's it for the show.
Yep.
All right, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, do
Should I
your
say
thing.
my thing?
Say your thing.
We're all somebody, and we can't wait to meet you up. Yeah. All right, well, bye-bye. All right, that's it.